Morning, everyone. Probably not the amount that you were expecting to see when you flipped on the video here. In Alaska with my father for a week here, and helping him get some of his to-dos done. He's looking forward to retiring soon and has sold his house here in the Wasilla, Alaska area, and is moving down towards Homer, and going to start looking forward towards retirement. So I'm up here helping him get that accomplished. This morning's video, we are going to talk about the top 5 most popular October red flags. So there are many. This time of the year, we creeping at the end of September, looking at the first week of October. You'll probably be getting this within the last couple of days of October. And those red flags are more predominant as each day clicks away. One of the things I've learned, this going back years and years, when, like I've said in the past videos, when your paycheck depends on it, you kind of realize what to expect and how to see these and recognize these before they cause issues. The problem is, in most properties or privately owned parcels across a country that I'm fortunate enough, blessed enough to be on with you guys now, those issues aren't seen quick enough. So what I mean by that is, here coming up over the next few weeks, you're going to see, you should see, be able to notice these red flags pop up, and we're going to talk about a couple of ways to help you see those, and to not be that person in the community that's not noticing these red flags too late, and at that point it's just that it's too late into the season, and some of them can't be corrected quick enough. So the number one thing that we're going to talk about here, and I guess these are no in particular order, maybe when we're done we'll talk about which is the most popular, but the first thing that we're going to talk about, the red flags, is let's say you started the 1st of September or the 4th of September this year, like Kentucky did. We've talked about that lull that everybody experiences, whether that's September or October, because of the pressure. But the first thing that we're going to talk about today is this. So if we started on the 4th, 28, so let's say 24, 25 days into the season, and if you can look back on your hunts and you are 50% of those days that you have had the option to hunt, if you have hunted over 50% of those, you should be looking at a red flag alarm. And the reason I say that is not to say that I don't encourage folks to be in the woods, but early season is not it's a chess match at that point. It's not a, especially with the aid of cameras, it's not a forceful, go in, make something happen, try to make something happen, go internal, as we would be in the pre-rut or the rut itself. Early season, like I said, is a chess match. And what I mean by that is kind of like a bear hunt. Most bear hunts are done in the evenings, and the reason for that is because when you're going into those areas, you're going to be blowing those food sources off, and sadly those food sources are pushed early season, and which creates the nocturnal deer, and that is it kind of hits on some topics that we're going to talk about here in the top 5. But the number one thing is, if you can look back and if you're at 50% or more over that short time period of 24 days on a early season hunt, whether you start the 4th of October or the 4th of September or the 1st of October, look back and make sure that you're not pushing the envelope. So September 4th openers, 24 days over 50%. What if you start October 1st? What I encourage you to try this year is to, as of the 15th of October, to look back and not have 50% of those days be on stand. So number 2, like we said, the cameras. One of the biggest red flags that I see that should be a red flag to you when other people are promoting their habits, or you trying to establish a game plan for yours, are the trail cameras in general, cell cameras included. At this point, before the season, a couple of weeks before the season, you should have, at least a week before the season, should have prepped your batteries, and so you don't have to be invasive. How do you get the information off from a standard SD camera? You know, a regular trail camera when you have to pull the card. After the season starts, you do not pull those cards. I do not recommend going in and pulling those cards and getting that intel, getting that information, unless you're going in there to hunt. So if you're the first week and it's a non-rut stand, meaning it's not further interior of the property, something that you can get into, and you know that it's a good early season, it's you know, closer to food in the evenings, not on the food source, but closer to it, and you've got your mock scrape and you got the camera running, slip in there, get the inventory, get the card, pull the card like we always say. I have that trail from the stand, so your access is from your outside to your stand is good and clean. I always cut a trail from there out to the camera so it's nice and quiet, so I can go out, get the card, come back, sit in the stand. If you're in there early, you know, look at the inventory. If not, enjoy your hunt. Look at the information off the card later. The third thing is focus on, we touched on this a little bit in number 1, but the third thing, red flags. Make sure that if you see someone, like I said, promoting their tactics or their habits during season, and they're talking about, you know, going in and hunting opening morning, you got to be in the stand opening morning, opening days. You know, if that term doesn't rattle you, then it is something that's very powerful, that opening day, especially a gun season. But the archery season's a little bit different. I'd love to be in the stand on opening day. It depends on where you're at in the country. It depends on what your opening day is, and it also depends on what you have there. Now, we open September 4th in Kentucky. Back where I'm from in Michigan, we open October 1st, and I'd be very comfortable telling you that I will probably hunt way less opening days in Kentucky than I did in Michigan, because of the climate. Simply because it's early down there, very warm. Sometimes even too warm to be in the stand in the evenings, because that is not it's not productive. So you don't burn those stands out. In Michigan, when you start October 1st, I mean, I've hunted in snow many times on October 1st, the opening day of the archery season. So it's kind of region specific, but just make sure that you're focused on those PM hunts versus the AM hunts. Number 4, the use of calls. I was reading a post the other day by a hunter that claims that they have rattled in a buck already this season. That kind of worries me. That to me is a huge red flag. There's no reason to even have a grunt call in most cases in your pack. In September, if you're a September opener. October, I have a need for a grunt call when the time permits and when that perfect time strikes, which is very few times before Halloween, before the end of October. But another one of those things, very region specific. But the those rattling antlers or that rattle pack shouldn't even be in your pack early season. Huge red flag. Calling right now can totally destroy a small hunting property. And number 5, guys, probably maybe the number 1 thing here, the most important. The number 1 or the number 5 listed here, maybe the number 1 most important, like I said, is intrusion. If you have crossed the transition, and like I've talked before, most folks, unless you're a client of mine or you've done some studying on some other folks out there in the industry that believe in a transition area and why a transition area is set in place, not random transitions, multiple different transitions around the property, but your main transition that encompasses 360 degrees of a property, no matter what the size of the property is. Now, larger the property, maybe that's split into a couple of sections. So, treating those properties as two pieces when we're talking about, north of 160, we're talking 320, stuff like that. But if you have crossed the transition area and penetrated internal of your farm, it should be a red flag. At this point, those going into October, if you have penetrated in there by the 15th, now I'm not talking about the entire month here, because obviously when we creep up onto Halloween and we get into those Halloween tactics time period, starting in the north and then including the Midwest, that's a whole different subject. But if you have penetrated too far into those properties and you can tell yourself that you are a quarter or past a quarter away or halfway or in the center of your property, you have thrown a huge red flag. That red flag is not only being seen, should have been seen by you. I can guarantee you, in most cases, 99.9% of the times, that red flag has been waved on your entire property. And at that point, I guess it's the white flag, right? You're surrendering, because I really believe that there is a lot of power in having a limitation set forth by a powerful transition area and not having that intrusion effect. And so you're one of those clients, or one of those customers, one of those hunters, I guess I should say. We are one of those hunters out there that get to experience what 90% of most properties around the country don't get to experience, of having a core to build off from, or having a core to hold sacred in your community. So we're going to be bringing you some more videos here throughout the week. It's kind of going to be my morning routine here to stay connected with you guys while I'm up here. And it was 35 degrees when I got here the other day, so little cold out here in Alaska, but we're going to be seeing some really cool sights here. So I'll bring some of that to you guys to show you the great state of Alaska. Thanks, guys.